Hello, my name is Dr. Brian Raid, and I'm a naturopathic doctor. And this is the second installment in my little video series about the meat cleanse that I've embarked upon over the last several months. So in this video, I'm going to talk about some of the changes that I've seen with my own health during this cleanse. And what's interesting is that a lot of the things that I've observed are things that I've heard other people reporting as well. So if you go on YouTube or other video platform, social media sites or whatnot, a lot of folks who post videos about this will talk about some of the things that I'm talking about as well. So it's interesting that it seems to be somewhat of a shared experience across the board with those of us doing this meat cleanse or carnivore diet. So one of the changes that I noticed that I was not expecting is that eating just meat and eggs and butter, my teeth always feel like I've just got out of the dentist. It's really, really nice. Like any random time during the day, whether it's 5 minutes after finishing brushing or it's five minutes before my second brushing of the day, my teeth just always feel like perfectly smooth, just fantastic. And that makes sense because I'm not consuming an appreciable amount of carbohydrates, and therefore there's just really not a whole lot for the microbes in my mouth to chow down on. So it seems like my tendency to form plaque on my teeth is virtually non-existent. So that's been nice. A closely related fringe benefit to that is that when I wake up in the morning, my breath just tastes better. The morning breath, I mean, there's a little bit there, but it's not nearly what it was before. I dare say, and my wife can attest to this, that I didn't have terrible morning breath to begin with, but my breath just tastes better to me. And then by and large, my wife tells me that my breath is even less problematic than it was before. And again, did not have a halitosis problem, I'm thankful to say, both for my sake and for hers and the sake of my patients and people that I'm around. But my breath seems that much fresher. And again, I assume it's because the microbiome in my mouth is that much more, I guess, in balance, or it's just different now. It's just not a carbohydrate mouth anymore. It's just a protein and fat mouth now. So, those are a couple of positive changes that I noted. Other positive changes that I noted is that it seems like my energy levels are just, they're better than they were before. I'm thankful to say that my energy levels were good to begin with, despite having a very busy naturopathic practice, despite having 3 kids at home, despite having an endless stream of side projects that I work on. So a very busy person, but taking care of myself. I've been taking good care of myself for years. I take mitochondrial support on a daily basis, and eat well and exercise and this and that. And so going into the diet, I felt very good. And I find that being on the diet, I feel even better. I feel like my mental clarity is sharper, my energy is better. I would say I've probably noticed maybe a further 10% improvement in both of those parameters of my health. The other thing that's kind of tied in with that is and I have to assume this because I didn't do any baseline labs. I probably should have, but I didn't. But I assume that my blood sugar regulation is quite a bit more even throughout the day. And I say that because sometimes oftentimes I'm running late for patients, not because I'm not respectful of their time, but because it's always hard to predict who needs more time. And, I never want patients to feel rushed in my office. So sometimes I do run late and, completely decimates the half-hour lunch break that I have in the middle of the day. We really just kind of jokingly call it a lunch break around here because it's really more just a spacer so that I'm not as late for patients in the afternoon. And so I'm not always able to eat in a timely fashion during the day. And in the past, prior to the meat cleanse, it wasn't a huge issue for me, but sometimes I would notice that I was feeling a bit more tired or sluggish or run down, or that, I was noticing my blood sugar dropping a bit. And now, even if I'm not able to finish my delicious bowl of meat that I have for lunch every day that I eat for lunch every day, I find that I still do well. I don't feel like I'm noticing any of those hypoglycemic effects, and I assume it's because my blood sugar levels are very, very even through the day. I know that some of the proponents of the carnivore diet or a meat cleanse, who have done baseline labs, or some people get these continuous blood glucose monitors, and so they see their blood sugar in real time, getting collected on their smartphone or whatever it happens to be, they certainly report that their blood sugar levels are very, very even when they're eating this way. And that does make sense because we're basically consuming mostly slow burning fuel, and so I just have a nice steady stream. I'm not getting any little carbohydrate whoops through the day in terms of my blood sugar and then possibly subsequent crashes. So there's other things that I have to say about my meat cleanse experience, but noticing the time on the video is starting to pick up a little bit. So I know the last video I posted about this, like 10 minutes, and I mean, in this day and age, a 10-minute social media video, just unheard of. So I'll leave it there. I'll post more in part 3, and I'll also post about some of my patient experiences as well, i.e. some of the feedback my patients have given me working with this diet. So I hope this is interesting, and if anybody has any questions or comments, just leave them below. And as I said in the last video, if anyone listening has experience with the carnivore diet that you'd like to share, I'd really like to hear about it, because it's something I've been working with quite a bit in practice now, but in the grand scheme of things, it's only been like a significant part of my practice for maybe the last 9 months or so, and so I'm still learning, and learning from others' experiences is really helpful. So let me know if you have anything to share.